Zoe, I've got these lovely duck breasts here.
Yes, you do.
And I love duck breasts. Nice and crispy skin, meat underneath, it's nice and juicy and tasty. The thing is with this, if I marinate it first, the outside can caramelise and go all sort of black, which we don't want. So what I'm going to do is actually seal these ducks and cook them so the skin is nice and crispy and the meat is nice and pink. And then I'm going to pop it straight into like a marinade that's going to flavour it as it cools down. That'll go beautifully with your salad. Now, if you can pass me that salt over there or grab a nice pinch of salt. I'm going to show you how to season duck, Zoe.
That's it?
Yeah, just a little bit more, Zoe. If we're going to season the duck, we need to actually put the salt on there, Zoe, not just sort of wave it around. Come on, a little bit more on the other side. So season both sides. That's it. It's hard for you, isn't it?
It is a little, actually, I've got to admit.
Now, if I get you to grab the pepper mill as well, we'll put lots of black pepper on both sides.
This I have no problem with.
I love pepper. Black cracked pepper on there is perfect. And you can see all the salt and pepper that's on the plate. I just move this duck around and make sure I pick it all up so none of this goes to waste. You can see they're well seasoned like that. Excellent. What I do now, Zoe, is just straight onto the grill. Hear that sizzle? Really important, because what that's going to do is start to render down the duck. Because most people would actually get plenty of olive oil or butter or something and put it on there. There's so much fat in the breast.
I've got to say, I'm very impressed to see that you put no butter and no oil on that.
Not yet, anyway. Now, Zoe, when the duck breasts come off the grill, I want to put them in something that actually adds flavour to it. You know, so what I've got is some simple things here. I've got some of this beautiful balsamic syrup,
that's beautiful. Is balsamic syrup like balsamic glaze?
It is. It's reduced and older, so it's got a real simple flavour. I've got some ginger. If you can grate about half a teaspoon of ginger straight in there, and I've got some honey as well for some extra sweetness, because duck and sweetness go so well together. I reckon that's about a tablespoon of honey in there. And that's the beauty of pouring it from the container, is you get to do this, Zoe.
I feel sorry for your blood sugar levels sometimes.
Really, they're doing just fine, trust me. Now, what I'll do is I'll grab this beetroot over here.
Yep.
And with this knife, I'll peel the nasty skin off it.
All right. I mean, look, I always talk about having the skin because it does have such a high nutrient content in it. But, I mean, every dish is different and you've got to abide by whatever the chef is telling you to do.
I like that. But I'm using this microplane to grate it nice and fine. I love the sweetness of beetroot. And I use it in a lot of things. And I often make my own pickled beetroot with sugar and vinegar and boil it up. But I've got a nice amount in there. If I was cooking the duck breast in a pan, I would actually, use this to make the sauce. But I reckon by marinating it like this, once it comes out, it just soaks up all these flavours.
Lovely.
Now, a little bit of zest in there.
And the orange is such a classic ingredient to have with duck as well.
Duck l'orange is a classic French dish. A nice little squeeze in there. You might want to step back a little bit.
Step back, yeah.
There we go. Squeeze that around. Now, if you grab a little spoon there, I'm going to get you to mix that around.
Ooh, I can really smell that orange. And funnily enough, I can smell the beetroot in it as well.
It's got a flavour to it, hasn't it? So what I'll do is we'll use our chefy fingers to have a little taste. A little bit of tartness there, a little bit of sweetness there. You've got the orange as well and the beetroot as well. I reckon I'll turn this over now and then, look at that. Nice crispness to it, nice amount of colour. Look at the pepper in there. But so you can see all the lovely, delicious duck fat that renders off. It is dangerous to eat a lot of that, but a little bit is just okay. But it all renders out of the skin. You can save some of that fat, cook it with some potatoes. Delicious. So what I'll do is I'll clean this up and I reckon we'll get into your salad. Zoe, you can see my duck is nice and crispy on the outside. Now, I can touch it with my thumb and I sort of know that it's cooked nice and rare. I like it that way. If you want to cook it a little bit more, you just leave it on there. But I just keep turning it every few minutes to make sure that all the moisture stays in it. It's nicely caramelised all over.
Lovely.
I could just pick it up and put it in a bread roll and eat it like this, but that would be uncouth of me, wouldn't it?
And the thing is also when you are cooking duck, it will continue to cook, particularly because you've got it in that marinade anyway, so...
It will, but as it cools down as well, it'll start to soak up some of that marinade and some of those juices in there like that. I keep the skin up because I want to keep it fairly crisp, but we'll let that sit there for a good 5 minutes or so.
Great.
And it'll just soak everything up, absorb those flavours, which will give us time to make your salad.
Perfect. Now, what we're going to do with this salad, it's really simple and it's actually using a lot of the ingredients that you used. So I'd love you to grate the beetroot and the apple, and obviously the apple's going to be raw, but we also want the beetroot to be raw as well. I've got some walnuts, and what I'm going to do is just grab a handful of them, pop that out of the way, and I'm just going to crush them up. So just use your hands on this one. You're going to have red hands. I'm going to have oily hands, but it's all fine. There we go.
Is that enough for you there?
Yeah, that's perfect. Right. And I've got some baby cos lettuce, and I'm just going to finely shave that like so.
See how I know not even to ask to take the skin off?
I'm very impressed.
Don't even bother. Just grate it with the skin on and forget about it.
You know me well.
There we go. But I love the colour of the beetroot. I mean, it's amazing when it's raw like this. Most people buy the tin beetroot.
There's absolutely no need, I believe, to buy tin beetroot. The thing is, if you do like beetroot cooked, it's so easy to preserve for one thing. You just can boil it and you can put it with some vinegar and salt and pepper and you can actually put it in jars and leave it. But that means you don't have all the sugar and you don't have all the nasties like preservatives coming into it.
I have to put a little bit of sugar in it, Zoe. Do you want me to put the apple straight on top there?
That'd be great, thank you. OK, I'm going to make the dressing. So we're going to use some orange juice and I'm going to put that straight into a bowl. And I also thought I'd use a little verjuice. So verjuice is made from grapes. Basically, it's wine without the alcohol. So it's got a slightly more mature taste to it than, say, grape juice, but it's a nice flavour and really nice instead of vinegar.
I'm loving this.
All right. Now, the other thing that you could do, I'll get you to give that a mix around.
Oh, my hands get all the red stuff on it. I like that. There we go.
That's true.
Just gently mix that around.
Just gently mix that around.
And the beetroot just bleeds into everything, and I love that. It's quite a powerful colouring agent, isn't it?
Look, I mean, it's just so good for you. Bit of salt and pepper into the dressing.
I'm glad you did that.
There's nothing wrong with a little salt in your diet, particularly if it's something like the Murray River salt, which has all of the minerals in it. It's actually good for you, as opposed to being bad like some of the processed salts. Bit of pepper, and then I'm going to pop that straight into the salad.
Perfect.
You can give that another mix around. And what I'm going to do is I've got some beautiful goat's cheese. You could use feta, but I love goat's cheese. I was telling Adrian a story that when I was living in France, we used to get goat's cheese and just drizzle honey, and that it'd be a lavender-infused honey, and we'd actually eat it. So it's no wonder I did put on 10 kilos when I lived there. So.
I can't believe that. There we go.
That's true.
So you're going to crumble that in there.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I'm going to put this straight in there. Now, obviously, we need to be a little bit more delicate. I'll get you to just slightly mix that through for me.
Okay, there we go.
And then I'm going to save a little bit just to go on the top as well.
Delicious. Get into this duck first, Zoe.
All righty.
I'm going to sneak a little bit off the front here. Look at that, nicely carved, nice and thin.
I really do like that marinade. And that balsamic glaze, it almost tastes vanilla-y. It's quite beautiful.
Good call, but it's amazing how that little bit of raw beetroot, there's probably maybe a tablespoon and a half in there, but it's gone all the way through, but in a nice way, a little bit sweet still, and a little bit of orange in there. A great way to marinate it as it cools down. It's great for a duck salad.
Yeah, really nice. All right,
Speaking
tell me
of
what you
salads,
think of the,
let me have a taste of this one. Plenty of goat cheese on there, beetroot in there, lettuce, nice and crunchy. That's beautiful, Zoe. The two together work really well. That's nice and fresh and creamy as well. I love the pepper in there, the crunch of the nuts. I think they both work really well together.
You know what? I couldn't agree with you more.